Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
In the confusion, Meng Ze felt himself moving rapidly. Meng woke up, but found himself sitting in some kind of machine, his vision constantly moving forward. What the hell is this? Didn't I just play a game? Just tired of climbing. How did such a magical thing appear? Thinking of this, Meng Ze looked to his side. I don't know whether I feel Meng Ze's thoughts or actions, and the vision in front of me instantly changes and switches to the inside of the machine. Judging by the things around him, Meng Ze seems to be in some cockpit. The objects around Meng Ze's seat are constantly moving up and down relative to him, but surprisingly, Meng Ze himself didn't feel any bumps. It's kind of like an immersive virtual cockpit game, but the technology is not home, and it is not even equipped with a simulated vibrator. Feeling like a helmet on his head, Meng Ze couldn't help but guess. I wonder if I can see the outside environment. Meng Ze thought about it, and the field of view suddenly switched to the outside panorama. And as Meng Ze's thinking changed, he constantly switched between the main and panoramic views. In the panoramic view, a mech is moving rapidly in the wilderness. What's the situation? I just slept. Are the games so advanced now? Meng Ze was stunned. He was just a blessed young man, at the beginning of the 21st century, and he never thought that he could have such a mysterious experience. Stop. Meng Ze gave instructions in his head. The mech really stopped. It's actually controlled by consciousness. Newbie. As a fan of the game, Meng Ze couldn't help but be excited. Hurriedly lifting the curved screen in front of him, the inside of the machine was no different from what he saw in the game's internal vision. This is a conscientious manufacturer, although there are a little flaws, but the details of the game's graphics are really good. Meng Ze sighed in his heart. Removing his helmet, Meng Ze surveyed the cockpit. There is not much space in the cockpit. There is only one place for one person. Meng Ze is securely fastened to the seat by several safety buckles. Through observation, Meng Ze found a switch to unlock the safety lock and open the hatch on the side of the arm. I want to see which uncle brought me here. Although this is a welfare, but without my consent, using illegal means to get me, it is a sentence. Thinking to himself, Meng Ze pressed the switch, felt his body sink for a while, and then the hatch in front of him opened down and turned into a ramp. Walking to the hatch and seeing the scene outside, Meng Ze seemed to have been struck by lightning and fixed in place. The endless wasteland, dotted with a few bushes. The view just now in the game is actually all real. Isn't that really on a mecha? At the thought of this, Meng Ze rushed out of the hatch and looked behind him. A mecha with a mud yellow camouflage was half crouching on the ground, and the huge body of more than 4 meters gave Meng Ze an indescribable shock. What the hell is going on here? Did I cross? Seeing this situation, Meng Ze suddenly had this thought in his mind. The unknown phenomenon made Meng Ze a little overwhelmed. Stunned for a while, Meng Ze rushed back to the mecha cockpit, picked up the helmet strap, and the virtual vision appeared in front of Meng Ze again. Meng Ze quickly searched in the virtual field of vision, and finally, found an exit option in the lower right corner. Like a man overboard who finally found a lifeline, Meng Ze quickly opted out. Phew. In the real world, Meng Ze bounced up from his seat and took a big breath of fresh air. After a while, Meng Ze finally came to his senses, repeatedly confirming that he was in front of the computer in the rental house. Meng Ze finally relaxed. Then, Meng Ze was ecstatic, and he had an adventure, a game world that feels like the real world. Thinking of this, Meng Ze was suddenly stunned. I'm out of the game now. How do I get in? Just as Meng Ze was embarrassed, a virtual screen projection suddenly appeared in front of him. This peculiar scene made Meng Ze's scalp tingle. There is both surprise and fear of the unknown, but for Meng Ze, who has read too many online novels, curiosity easily overwhelms fear. At this time, most of the area on the virtual projection screen is empty. There is a character avatar logo in the upper left corner, and inside it is a question mark, which seems to be because the character has not been identified yet. A semicircular rotating sign in the upper right corner, also a question mark in the center. How do I get into the game? As Meng Ze's questions fell, a box popped up in the virtual mirror. Do you want to enter the StarCraft simulation world? After Meng Ze silently determined in his heart, his vision changed and he reappeared in the mecha cockpit. Meng Ze tested it a few times, and it was easy to get in and out of the world, just to think about it in your head. Then Meng Ze wondered, what would it be like in the real world? When he entered the game, he laid his phone away, turned on the video recording, and then entered the game again. Felt like I had been in the game for 10 minutes and opted out again. When Meng Ze picked up the phone, he was shocked. How did more than a minute pass? After opening the video playback back and forth, I found that Meng Ze's body disappeared instantly in the 9th second of the video, and then reappeared in place after about a minute or so. The time between the two worlds is not equal, and I actually entered the other world with my real body. Am I playing a game with my life? This discovery made Meng Ze a little uneasy, but it also proves once again that Meng Ze has encountered an incredible adventure. Where in the world is there a game that can be entered in real life? How bold and productive people are. Meng Ze temporarily suppresses his worries and tests the time relationship between the worlds once again. After testing, it was found that the time between the simulated world of StarCraft and the real world is almost 10:1. Time passed away little by little during the Meng Ze test. I don't know how long later, Meng Ze, who was in the game world, suddenly popped up a task prompt in front of his eyes. Mission: ask the commander to arrive at the crystal mine within 3 hours. Looking at the text on the screen, Meng Ze was stunned for a moment. The game world actually took the initiative to give him a task prompt, and there was actually a time limit. Although this surprised Meng Ze a little, he was relieved to think that it was the game world. He doesn't have any idea of challenging the rules of the world. He doesn't deliberately test what will happen if he can't play the task, and Tai doesn't do that. Quickly call up the task list and retrieve the task information from it. The whole process is no different from playing a game on the computer, except that the keyboard and mouse operation is replaced by brain control. Maneuvering the mech to move forward quickly, the time given by the mission was quite rich, and after only half an hour, Meng Ze arrived at the mission site. This is a highland plain. Stepping on the height, a large column of huge crystals is imprinted on Meng Ze's eyes. The icy light of the crystal pillar almost didn't blind Meng Ze's eyes. This is the crystal mine. It's amazing. It's spectacular. Looking at the huge crystal mines rising from the highland plains, Meng Ze felt that the scenes he had seen in previous decades were not as shocking as this scene. Mission: Command Center Construction. Ask the commander safety tips to build the command center in a suitable location. The specific operation steps are as follows. Upon arrival at the crystal mine, the task prompt refreshes. Meng Ze follows new mission prompts and finds a small box in the mech cockpit. Open. In the center of the small box, there is a small curved transparent disc. Floating inside is a very mini but rather elaborate semicircular building. This is the command center. Is it so mini? With suspicion, looking at the delicate model inside the small box, Meng Ze followed the prompts to continue. Place the prepared gene key into the groove on the side of the box. Gene lock verification successful. Immediately, a light shot from the front of the box, and a full body scan of Meng Ze was performed. Commander information registration successful. Hello Commander Meng Ze. Please select the command center delivery location. A virtual panoramic map interface pops up, and Meng Ze starts moving the command center image on the interface, repeatedly eliminating areas that could not be built. Meng Ze chose a location closest to the crystal mine. As Meng Ze's operation is complete, the beep keeps appearing. The coordinates have been confirmed. The dimensional space has been unlocked. Energy is being injected. The preparations are complete. The dimensional space is about to unfold. Please keep a safe distance from the commander and confirm the delivery order again. On the ground in front of Meng Ze, a projection of the command center appeared out of thin air. Estimating his position, Meng Ze silently stepped back more than 100 meters. Command center delivery. With Meng Ze's command, the arc-shaped space in the small box silently shattered. A huge hemispherical command center with a diameter of 100 meters suddenly appeared in front of Meng Ze. Where the shadow of the command center overlapped, the originally uneven ground, and even some huge stones, all shattered and disappeared silently. Poof! As the airflow erupted from below the command center, the entire command center changed from virtual to solid and officially landed. Meng Ze followed the prompt into the command center, which was very simple to set up, with only one core control room. In the core control room, there is a huge display, a console and a very high-class looking chair. There is a helmet on the console, which looks much more advanced than Meng Ze's previous mech helmets. Meng Ze followed the prompt, picked up the helmet strap, started, and lines of text began to appear. Welcome Commander to StarCraft Sim. The world is connecting. Accessing. Systemic disorders. As the system appears disorganized, Meng Ze feels that the whole world in front of him is gradually blurring. Just when Meng Ze was worried and hesitated to quit, his eyes suddenly became clear again. The system adjustment is successful, and the StarCraft simulation world is successfully accessed. With the access of the StarCraft simulation world, the screen in front of Meng Ze is filled with a large amount of information. A clear portrait of the figure appears in the upper left corner, and it is Meng Ze himself. When Meng Ze paid attention to this, as he thought about it, an information panel popped up. Commander name, Meng Ze. Commander level, level 1. Commander bonus, none. Number of command centers, 1. Command center level, level 1. Number of troops, 0. Meng Ze has read his own information. It is really difficult to say, except for the first few items, the other smoke is 0. The upper right corner of the screen shows Meng Ze's current command center icon and minimap. and after Meng Ze pays attention, the prompt display is because Meng Ze only has one command center, and it cannot be switched. In the center of the screen is an image display centered on the Meng Ze command center. The area shown is not small, and the entire crystal mining area is covered. But apart from the command center and the crystal mine, there is nothing alone on the screen. In the lower left corner is the communication information, divided into 4 areas. These are world communications, war zone communications, nearby broadcasts and personal communications. Nearby broadcasts and personal communications were blank, but world communications and war zone communications were bustling, especially in the war zone communication. The information refresh speed is so fast that Meng Ze can't react at all. Fortunately, at the first thought, the information is refreshed to a level that he can accept. I am a big brother, the acquisition of Yamato battleship drawings, ordinary grade 500 million crystal ore, or cash 5 million. For each level of drawing level rises, the quotation is increased tenfold. Some please contact. 5th level elite, acquire skyline level ultra long range defense fortress drawings, rare level or above. Crystal or 200 million or equivalent cash for each level of drawings rise, the quotation is increased tenfold. Some please contact. Juga My Zijian, the Alliance and Zin officially announced the alliance, hereby announce. Square Wu, Zin and the United Vertical Alliance officially announced the alliance, hereby announced. World communication information. Meng Ze only read a few messages, and gave up for a while. The information above is too high-end, too far away from such a dish as him, and the content of the theater communication is more grounded. Oops, acquisition of Starfire-class destroyer drawings above the elite. 500,000 crystal mines, some eat the ground and stomp, ordinary war-level siege fortress drawings, as long as 5 million crystal mines. No cash, you want to buy M. This is the collection of low-level drawings. Arms dealers, long-term acquisition of drawings of ordinary class Yamato ships, 50 million crystal or 500,000 in cash, some M. This is a scam for newcomers. Extremely great, newcomers ask for cover. Is there any brother who brings a secret realm? 100 cash at a time. This is hugging the thighs. Didiang, the Vertical City Alliance recruits new recruits, requires the ability to manufacture star-class cruisers, and if it can build the Yamato ship, it will be free of membership fee. This is pulling people's heads. The other party enlarged the photo. Sell the drawings of the Space Research Institute. The mine or the money is arbitrary. Please bring the price. The scammer rolls. This is selling things. The total information of 0 and 0 is varied, so that Meng Ze instantly has the feeling of playing online games back then, which is the taste. I just don't know where these people are. And although the text displayed is Chinese, and the content is very much in line with the real-world game, Meng Ze doesn't really think that this is a game in the real world. Judging from the information seen, the crystal ore in the game is quite valuable, and the ratio of cash to cash is actually 100:1. Meng Ze clicked on a bunch of crystal columns in his crystal mine, and the information showed category, crystal source ore, content, ****** units, recovery, 50,000, hour. Then I looked at the 100 crystal or sources densely distributed on the highland plain, and I was a little puzzled. According to this situation, even taking into account the resilience, under full mining, 70 million crystal ore can be collected every day. Just selling mines, in exchange for cash, wouldn't it be 700,000 a day? Although I don't know what the cash value these people say, it should not be low to find out through just a few words, and the ratio of crystal ore to cash in the game is also very stable. Under the continuous crystal mines, the economic system of this world has not collapsed, which is really amazing. After looking at the communication area, Meng Ze looked at the lower middle of the screen, where the information was displayed. Although it is now empty, the information that previously showed the crystal sorcerer is located at this location. In the lower right area, there are various building and instruction signs. After reading the information on the big screen, even without guidance, Meng Ze knew what to do. The first time, of course, is to collect resources. Without resources, nothing can be done. Select the command center, and sure enough, I saw the information about building the mining machine. Category, unmanned mining machine. Level 1. Efficiency, 10 units. Hour, life force, 20. Attack damage, 5. Defense, 0. Manufacturing demand, 50 units of crystal ore. The command center initially had 1,000 units of crystal mines, and Meng Ze used them all at once to build unmanned mining machines. The speed of manufacturing mining machines in the command center is very fast, and 20 mining machines are put into one batch and start manufacturing simultaneously. In just 5 minutes, all the unmanned miners were built. Meng Ze sent them all to collect crystal ore. Watching the unmanned miners start working, sparks flying, Meng Ze relaxed. At this point, Meng Ze felt a strong feeling of hunger and exhaustion. When I quit the game, it was completely dark. How long have I been playing this? Meng Ze felt the need to make a hint feature in the game, otherwise he would not feel the passage of time if he was immersed in it. The thought flashed, and the virtual screen projection suddenly appeared in front of Meng Ze's eyes, and in the middle of the top of the screen mirroring, a time function appeared there. Interstellar calendar 0000 January the 1st 200, 360, 253, September the 1st, 2022 2036, 25 Standard Time. The number of seconds in the display is constantly changing, and the interstellar calendar time and real time are automatically displayed according to 10:1, which is very intimate. Meng Ze doesn't know what this thing underpins his interaction between the StarCraft simulation world and the real world. Let's call it a system. Obviously, this system is very intelligent. When needed, it will appear in time, and when it is not needed, it will automatically disappear without causing any interference, and Meng Ze is very satisfied with it. Picking up his phone, Meng Ze looked at the dozen or so missed calls on it, and chuckled in his heart. Click on it, and as expected, it was all the phone of the company's director. No need to ask, Meng Ze knows. The probability is to notify over time again. MD, I only have 4 days off a month, and I don't miss this time, Meng Ze complained in his heart. Looking at the time of the call, the first call was after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, it's so late now, it's too late. Meng Ze simply ignored it, and it was a big deal to deduct money when he went to work. Thinking of this, Meng Ze felt regretful. If only the adventure he obtained could be realized, and he was too lazy to suffer this bird's anger. Meng Ze is located in a second-tier city. Consumption is relatively high. According to Meng Ze's income, every month single rent and daily use, to remove more than half. Meng Ze's family is just an ordinary family. In addition to Meng Ze, there is also a younger brother Meng Tan who is in college, so you can't count on it. Fortunately, Meng Ze is more homely, does not smoke, drink, and does not go to K-parties. In addition to the living expenses of 1,000 yuan a month for his younger brother Meng Tan, he can barely save 1,000 yuan. Meng Ze graduated from college for 3 years and has only worked one job so far, as a designer at his current company. The management of the company is very impersonal. Even if there is nothing to do, the working time is full, and once there is business, it is whenever and wherever. Meng Ze thought about changing jobs, but the burden of life made him dare not act rashly. With her phone in hand, Meng Ze prepares to go out to fill her stomach. Good places are afraid to go, and Meng Ze's goal is roadside stalls. Roadside stalls in the city are like weeds. No matter how many times the Chingun comes, cut a bunch, and soon another bunch emerges. In the internet era, urban management, law enforcement does not dare to be so rude, and most of the roadside stalls are also families with poor economies, so many times it is a formality. As long as it does not seriously affect the environment and traffic, most of them are just a warning. Meng Ze loves the ramen from the roadside stalls, not to mention the taste, cheap and full. After a meal, Meng Ze glanced at the time on the virtual projection screen, an hour in the real world, and 10 hours in the game world. Meng Ze paid and hurried home. Just now, when Meng Ze had the idea of watching the game time, the virtual screen projection suddenly appeared, and Meng Ze was also scared unclear, for fear of being found abnormal by others. As a result, even a few passers-by at Meng Ze's table turned a blind eye to the virtual screen projection. Meng Ze then realized that no one else could see this projection except himself. Back at his residence, Meng Ze entered the StarCraft simulation world for the first time. The reserves of crystal ore became 2,000, and Meng Ze made it into unmanned mining machines, so Meng Ze's unmanned mining machines became 60 units. After the unmanned mining machine was manufactured, Meng Ze became a state of nothing to do. Eyes on Sony Communications. Meng Ze browses the information on it to improve his understanding of the StarCraft simulation world. In theater communications, the most information is buying and selling, followed by information on various cooperation, wars, and alliances. Through this information, Meng Ze found that the StarCraft simulation world is simply at war, and in this world, strengthening yourself is the first need. His eyes swept over his command center, and there were only ant-like unmanned mining machines. Meng Ze doesn't know if there is a novice protection function in this world. If not, then he can only pray in his heart that he will not be discovered by others. Otherwise, in his current state, he is just a lamb to be slaughtered. Continuing to look at the content of the war zone communication, 3 identical pieces of information suddenly entered Meng Ze's field of vision. The slingshot of the plane, the beasts and blood of the city are fighting to the end. Zhuangding is also a soldier. The rich mine that Lao Tzu spent months to find. You will rob Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu can't beat you, but don't think about it. Everyone in the 117 theater, You listen, at the coordinates of 77869112458C3358B, there is a super bonanza. A single pile of crystal or 5 million units, recovery of 5,000 units per hour. This mine has 20 piles of crystal ore, rare in 100 years. If you want to go quickly, under the communication sent by the slingshot of the plane, someone answered the call at the first time. God of War butyl tape, this rich mineral, my God of War alliance wants, the slingshot for fighting. What you said is best true. If you dare to lie to me, my God of War alliance will definitely make you unable to stay in the 117 war zone. Skipping dozens of irrelevant messages, Meng Ze saw the slingshot of the plane, and the reply of the city. Slingshot for fighting, butyl tape allies. There is nothing false in the information I provided. If the allies find out that I am lying, I will cut myself off from the 117 war zone. Of course, if someone maliciously depletes the mine and downgrades, then I can't help it. Didiang, butyl tape alliance master, the bloody battle to the end. Xuanding is also a soldier, has handed over the mine to the Vertical and Heng City Alliance, and now the mine is owned by our alliance. I hope the alliance owner will not start a dispute. Moving on, there should be a follow-up on this matter, but Meng Ze is no longer in the mood to watch it. The upper limit of 5 million units and the recovery capacity of 5,000 units per hour are actually called a super bonanza, that is rare in a century, and a theater alliance stood up to possess it at the first time, which proved the authenticity of this matter. So what is the upper limit of 50 million units of 100 piles and 50,000 units per hour that you have? Super bonanza. By this time, Meng Ze had understood that he had taken super luck. No wonder crystal ore is so valuable and so strong. You have to hide your coordinate information. Thinking of this, Meng Ze quickly paid attention to the coordinates of his command center. The results, take a look. What's going on here? The coordinates are actually all question marks. Meng Ze remembers the anomaly that first connected the StarCraft simulation world. Could it be a bug? Command center coordinates lost. Meng Ze guessed in his heart. If this were the case, the security of Meng Ze would undoubtedly increase considerably. But now Meng Ze has no way to verify this, so he can only keep it in mind and find another opportunity. Just as Meng Ze diverted his attention, big news broke in the 117 war zone. Because the Vertical and Horizontal City Alliance refused to hand over the super bonanza found by the slingshot of the aircraft, the Battle God Alliance, the first alliance of the 117th war zone, officially declared war on the 4th-ranked Vertical and Horizontal City Alliance in the war zone. When Meng Ze looked at the war zone communications again, it was full of news from the two alliances. For the excitement of these big guys, Meng Ze can only hide in the command center and eat melons silently. That night, Meng Ze stayed up until more than 2 o'clock in the evening, and the number of unmanned mining machines for mining increased to more than 300. In the end, Meng Ze couldn't stay up and quit to sleep. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Meng Ze was woken up by the alarm clock, brushed his teeth and washed his face in a daze, and then rushed into the game world, arranged all the resources, and hurried to the company. People did not rest well, and their state was naturally very poor. Not only was they scolded by the supervisor, but also deducted money all day. Meng Ze's mind was not at work at all. In addition to paying attention to the progress of the game world on the virtual projection screen from time to time, he also took risks and secretly went to the toilet to arrange the manufacture of unmanned mining machines. When it was time to leave work, Meng Ze hurried home. The first time to schedule resources for production, Meng Ze felt grounded. Even Meng Ze himself feels that something is wrong with him, like an internet addict in the advanced stage. However, entering a new world, the early stage is always the most exhausting. What's more, Meng Ze doesn't know if he's absolutely safe right now, so he has a strong sense of urgency. This time, the stored resources were not all consumed, and due to site constraints, Meng Ze owned crystal ore, can operate up to about 80 unmanned mining machines per pile. Counting the back and forth handling, alternating operation time, 100 unmanned mining machines per pile of ore is the upper limit. Meng Ze has built 10,000 unmanned mining machines, and there are hundreds of thousands of resources left. The next step is to make other buildings. All buildings require drawings. There are two sources of drawings. One is the world market, which is provided by the StarCraft simulation world. Just like the official mall in the game, this marketplace provides basic scientific and technological drawings, a complete command center, and basic classes of various levels. But basic classes can only be purchased if they reach the corresponding technological level. The other is the free market, where the trading StarCraft simulation world provides platforms and third-party guarantees, takes fees, and is responsible for the delivery of goods, and the items traded are provided by various commanders. According to Meng Ze's understanding, there were originally class trades in the free market, but due to the high price of delivery, frequent reservation of backdoors, and even the situation of purchased troops rebelling against the commander, so now, no one will buy ready-made classes. At present, Meng Ze's command center level is only one level, and there are not many things that can be made, but in the game world, it can harvest 100,000 crystal ores per hour. Meng Ze doesn't know how efficient others are at mining, but for him, the crystal ore should be enough. In this case, buying drawings naturally has to pick good ones. Meng Ze skipped the world market and began to pick the architectural drawings he needed in the free market. There are a variety of drawings on the market: architecture, arms, technology, etc. millions. Meng Ze made a keyword selection to extract the types of buildings that can be built by grade 1 technology. The results show that there are 10 types of main buildings and 6 types of ancillary buildings that can be built by first-class technology. The main buildings are: supply station, provides supplies to all classes; biochemical arsenal, a building for manufacturing and cultivating biochemical arms; forge, a building that produces armored combat vehicle classes; airport, a building that makes flying classes; biochemical research institute, research and improve the architecture of biochemical arms; engineering research institute, research on defensive buildings, building protection, ground light arms armor and offensive equipment buildings; rearmament institute, research on the construction of heavy arms, Air Force armor and offensive weapons; missile launch pad, air defense building; fortress, a defensive building that requires soldiers to be stationed; science station, a place to study advanced technology. The outbuildings are: satellite stations, nuclear bomb wells, attached to the command center; mechanical garage, attached to the forge; control tower, attached to the airfield; physical laboratory and espionage research center, attached to the science station. The drawings of the main buildings have 4 levels, from low to high, normal, rare, legendary, and mysterious. There are only general drawings for outbuildings, regardless of rank. The first thing Meng Ze had to build was, of course, a supply depot. The supply station is the most basic building, and in the StarCraft simulation world, except for the unmanned mining machine that is supplied by the command center, any other class of troops needs to be supported by the supply station. If there are not enough supply stations, there will be problems when you build more classes, which is what differentiates the game world from the real world. In the real world, there is not enough supply, and you can starve, but in the StarCraft simulation world, there are insufficient supply stations, and the entire command center dispatch will be chaotic. Moreover, the supply station is a general-purpose building of all levels, and no matter what level of technology climbs, the supply station is a must. Meng Ze believes that the higher the grade of the supply station, the better. The supply capacity of different levels of supply stations is compared. Each ordinary supply station can supply 100 population units, each rare supply station can supply 200 population units, each legendary supply station can supply 400 population units, and each mystic supply station can supply 1,000 population units. Meng Ze caught a glimpse of the mysterious supply station drawings. Asterisk. Free market, there are more than 100 mysterious supply station drawings, and the uniform price is 1 million crystal ore. Meng Ze looked at his crystal ore inventory at this time, only more than 700,000 units, which was not enough to buy mysterious drawings. However, Meng Ze is not worried. According to the current production of 100,000 crystals per hour in the game world, he will harvest 1 million units of crystal ore every hour in the real world. Just when Meng Ze wanted to quit the StarCraft simulation world, he suddenly thought, if I sell some crystal mines now, I wonder if I can get cash. Thinking of this, Meng Ze hurriedly inquired about the way crystal ore was bought and sold. The method is very simple. Just need to hang the quantity and price of crystal ore you need to sell in the free market, and the selling price is unified to 101. Meng Ze was happy with the price of the sale, but he wasn't sure if he would receive the money. For experimental purposes, Meng Ze sold only 100,000 crystal ore for the first time. When he put the crystal ore resources on the free market, Meng Ze thought there would be some unusual hint. As a result, nothing happened. Just over a minute later, Meng Ze received the news that the crystal mine had been successfully sold. Respected Commander, your 100,000 units of crystal ore have been robbed and purchased again and again, and the cash obtained from the sale is deducted from the handling fee of 10%, and the rest has been received. Please check it in time. This message left Meng Ze confused. He didn't even lose an account. Where did he get cash? Meng Ze felt cheated, leaving the game depressed. I found a text message from ICBC as soon as I picked up my phone. Your tail number 2205 card at 2154 on September the 2nd. ICBC income, inward remittance from other banks, 900 yuan, balance 21,542.53 yuan, other party account name, asterisk asterisk asterisk, other party account tail number, asterisk 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 asterisk. Seeing this mysterious text message, Meng Ze's hands were shaking with excitement. The fact that the cash sold in the game world can be presented in the real world is simply far from the picture. Without saying a word, Meng Ze entered the game and put all the remaining 600,000 crystal ore resources on the free market. In less than a minute, the crystal ore was closed again. Meng Ze immediately quit the game and checked his phone text messages. Sure enough, I received another ICBC text message. Your tail number 2205 card at 2154 on September the 2nd. ICBC income, inward remittance from other banks, 5,400 yuan, balance 26,942.53 yuan, the other party's account name, asterisk asterisk asterisk, the other party's account tail number, asterisk 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 asterisk. Meng Ze jumped onto the bed, laughing so much that tears came out of her eyes. Thinking that he has gained such an adventure, his future life will inevitably be very different. What 996 blessings, the farther Lao Tzu rolls, the better. After the excitement, Meng Ze began to calculate how much he could earn. At current capacity, 24 million units of crystal ore can be mined per day. If you sell it all, after deducting the handling fee, you will have a daily profit of 216,000. Compared to Meng Ze's current situation, it was 1 day to 4 years. This night, Meng Ze did not sleep well at all, and from time to time he had to take a look at the amount of resources on the virtual projection screen. In Meng Ze's eyes, it's not crystal ore, it's all red and tong tong yuan. Meng Ze doesn't know when he fell asleep. When the morning alarm woke Meng Ze from his dream, he was ready to leave for work after brushing his teeth and washing his face in a daze. Suddenly remembering yesterday's incident, after picking up the mobile phone to confirm it again, he grinned. I'll go to your uncle's class, Brother Z, I'm financially free. Then, throwing himself back into bed, Meng Ze entered the game world. After one night of accumulation, Meng Ze's crystal ore reserves climbed to nearly 10 million units. Meng Ze, who has never been so rich, saw this number, and his heart was a cool word. Although Meng Ze was tempted to exchange all these crystal mines for cash, reason prevailed over desire in the end. Open the free market, and from all the mysterious supply station drawing sellers, Meng Ze randomly chooses a person called Doghead Bun. Meng Ze didn't pay for the drawings right away. He opened the dog-headed bun's avatar and sent it a private newsletter. For security reasons, Meng Ze opted only for voice communication. A few seconds later, the communication was picked up, and the sound of dog-headed bun sounded in the command center. There was a twitter. Meng Ze should obviously not understand these words, but he automatically understood the meaning of the dog's head bun in his mind. Hello Commander Meng Ze, what's the matter with you contacting me? Meng Ze can be sure that among the major languages he knows on Earth, there is no such language spoken by dog-headed buns. This made Meng Ze reconfirm that the game world should interact with other parts of the universe, or even other time and space. Commander Doghead Bun, I want to buy your mysterious supply station drawings. Can you get a discount on it? Getting a better price wasn't Meng Ze's main goal. He just wanted to connect with people in the original game world in this way. Only through them can Meng Ze gain a deeper and systematic understanding of the world. Although the communication channel also has a certain role. In the past 2 days, Meng Ze found that because of the lack of basic common sense, what he learned from the communication channel was a castle in the air. You're new, the dog-headed bun questioned. Meng Ze was speechless. How to expose himself in one sentence? What's even more tragic is that he has no idea what exactly is missing. Just when Meng Ze didn't know how to answer, the dog-headed bun spoke again. Haha, isn't it strange? You buy the drawings of the supply station. I'll tell you how. Meng Ze, who has deep pockets, bought the drawings of the supply station without saying a word, and then said to the dog-headed bun, I bought the drawings. What do you tell me? The dog-headed bun confirmed and said happily, haha, it's really enough for local tyrants, Meng Ze, except for newcomers. Very few people buy mysterious level supply stations, and the minimum selling price stipulated by the mysterious level supply station market is 1 million, and it is impossible to drop it again, as long as everyone who has played for a few days knows it. Why? Isn't a mysterious supply station bad? The supply capacity is 10 times that of the normal level. Meng Ze voiced his doubts. What's good? Although the mysterious level supply station has a high supply capacity, it is expensive. For every 1,000 crystal ore built by an ordinary level supply station, and 100,000 crystal mines built by a mysterious level supply station, the cost-performance difference between the two is 10 times. The biggest advantage of the mysterious level supply station is just that it occupies less space, but this year, one mine has such a little output. As long as it occupies 2 more mines, who will lack territory, the dog-headed bun explained. Isn't there a commander with less territory? Meng Ze asked. Of course there is. There are quite a few. Many newcomers as long as they do not develop, usually only one mine, a little territory. However, these people, not to mention that they can't afford mysterious level supply stations, they don't need so many supply stations at all, and they can't develop at all with few mineral resources. Speaking of this, the dog-headed bun paused, and said with some envy, unlike you interstellar young masters, there is family support as soon as you come in. For the dog-headed buns, Meng Ze did not interface, but said, there is no need to envy the bun boss. I am just a newcomer now, and you have developed the big guy. Hearing Meng Ze's words, the dog-headed bun broke into smugness. I'm not a big guy, I'm just a 4th level commander, and I can only rank in the top 100 in our war zone. Although he said that, Meng Ze felt that the dog's head bun was almost hanging the words, hurry up and praise me. The bun boss is too modest, or the big guy will tell me about your fortune history. Meng Ze hurriedly patted the horse's ass, and then asked, is the big guy's avatar what you look like now? Good personality, asterisk. Meng Ze's commander's avatar is automatically generated in his own likeness, but he's not sure if that's the case for everyone. Ha ha ha, it's good looking. I deliberately did the styling before entering the interstellar world. Brother, your image is too old, not trendy at all. The dog-headed bun is very proud of his image. It's a beautiful wool. The hair between the ears and forehead is all braided into a slippery braid. What a strange look, Meng Ze complained in his heart. However, through the dog-headed bun, Meng Ze is also a little relieved. Although I don't know if it's all, but at least other players also have human appearances, and he doesn't seem to be an anomaly here. The bun boss is really far-sighted and prepared in advance. I didn't expect this one. No wonder the big guy can develop so well. Having got the information he wanted, Meng Ze quickly turned the conversation back to the subject. Average, but brother Meng Ze, brother Bun, I don't have a family background like you. I think back then, brother, I was too unlucky. There was only a poor mine at the beginning. The dog-headed bun began to tell Meng Ze about his history, and the mystery of the StarCraft simulation world gradually unfolded to Meng Ze. The StarCraft simulation world is indeed a game world as Meng Ze thought before, but to Meng Ze's surprise, the world isn't entirely virtual. It is actually a semi-real and semi-virtual world that I don't know what means to build. Players are really involved in this world, fighting bravely in this world, but not actually dying in the real world. Some of the game's gains will bring real feedback, but in-game death will also cause players to damage all aspects of their real-world bodies, equivalent to a drop in all attributes. According to Doghead Bun, he himself died once, and as a result, his physical fitness dropped by 10%, and he later recovered through the gains in the game. The story of the dog-headed bun let Meng Ze know that this game world is not simple. It also made Meng Ze understand why so many people are willing to exchange cash for in-game resources, because there are some things that are much more valuable than cash. Other players in StarCraft Sim are randomly assigned a mining area when they are born. The unlucky one is only a poor mine, such as Doghead Buns, and the European Emperor may be allocated to the super-rich mine. In the poor, or at the birth point of the dog-headed bun, there are only 10 crystal or piles. Each pile is capped at 200,000, and the recovery amount is only 200 units per hour. If it weren't for the fact that there was a fool next to him who saw money, and was bought by him with money, it is estimated that there would be no follow-up to the dog's head bun. When the dog-headed bun developed, his foolish neighbor became his working boy, and 80% of the income was handed over to him, making him stronger and stronger. After that, it is all the way to prospect and expand, participating in the process of harvesting and growing the ruins and secret realms. Among the harvests told by the dog-headed buns, Meng Ze wants all kinds of special items the most. The enhancement of the commander by those things in the game world can actually be brought back to the real world, but envy is envy. Meng Ze knows that these things are too far away for him, and can only be used as future goals. Although Meng Ze entered the game world late, he has a near-infinite mind, and believes that he will definitely have a place in this world in the future. After listening to the dog-headed bun narration with bragging for many hours, in the end, the dog-headed bun was a little embarrassed. Brother, with your patience, there will definitely be a place for you in this interstellar world in the future. Doghead Bun rode. Brother Bun has won the prize. I just like to hear you tell your deeds. Meng Ze said, haha, that's it. If the brother wants to buy anything in the future, please check whether there is my order on the market first. Some things are estimated to only people like you, brother, will buy. The dog-headed bun finally said. This request was not difficult for Meng Ze, and he agreed in passing. Today he gained a lot from this talkative dog-headed bun. Although there may be factors that the other party regards Meng Ze as an interstellar second generation and deliberately befriended, but Meng Ze does have a great liking for dog-headed buns, and without him, I don't know when I would have fully understood these common senses. After adding each other to the address book for the drawings of the supply station purchased by Meng Ze, the dog-head bun deliberately stated that it would be shipped as soon as possible. Meng Ze then learned that the purchase of items other than the resources stored in the command center in the free market must be agreed upon at a time of delivery. Otherwise, the seller may delay indefinitely, because as long as the two parties do not agree on the delivery time, delaying the delivery is not a violation. If there is no explanation, perhaps the buyer can only forcibly refund the order after 10 days. The resources stored in the command center are different. When you are hung in the market, the resources are locked by the platform. When the purchase and sale transaction is reached, the platform will directly pick up and deliver it from the command center, which will arrive in an instant. Within minutes of chatting with Doghead Bun, Meng Ze received drawings from Doghead Bun through the platform. Said to be a drawing, it is actually a special chip. This chip can only be read once, and then it will self-destruct, and the content read at the same time will be bound to the command center, so that the commander of the buyer and seller cannot use the means of copying to buy and sell again, ensuring the uniqueness of the drawing. Meng Ze placed the chip in a slot dedicated to the console. On the big screen, a new building icon is generated. The color of the icon is purple, indicating that the building is mysterious. White, green, gold, purple, 4 colors, corresponding to the 4 levels of common, rare, legendary, mysterious. With the supply station drawings, Meng Ze still can't yet be built. You have to use engineering troops. The General Engineering Corps need biochemical arsenals to produce, and the Engineering Corps themselves need to occupy population units. And the absence of supply stations, and the absence of population units is a paradox in itself. Fortunately, each command center has its own 4 special engineers, which only need to be activated. Although activating each requires 10,000 crystal ores at a time, and only one thing can be built, but these 4 special engineering troops, like unmanned mining machines, are supplied by the command center, and do not occupy population units, which just meets the needs of manufacturing supply stations. Meng Ze suspects that these 4 special engineers were set up specifically to build the first supply station, activate the engineering troops and arrange the task of building the supply station. When a small door suddenly appears outside the command center, 4 multi-legged robots walked out of it and quickly rushed to the location designated by Meng Ze. Meng Ze saw the process of building construction for the first time, and the whole process was very mysterious. The engineers took out the crystal ore from the abdominal cavity, marked the required material specifications in the void, and then in some mysterious way, the crystal ore was continuously reduced to generate the required materials. The construction process was fast, and in just an hour, a rectangular building 50 meters long, 30 meters wide and 156 meters high was completed. Meng Ze was very curious about the buildings built in this game world, and went to the supply station, but he couldn't get in. The system prompts, there is a risk factor inside the supply depot, and the commander, as the absolute core of the force, must ensure his own safety. So the building is not open to the commander, and the commander can learn about the structure of the building through the command center. On the large screen in the command center, Meng Ze calls up the configuration of the supply station, which shows all the details inside and outside the supply station. To put it simply, there are many small silos inside the supply station, storing various supply raw materials. As for the source of these supply raw materials, they are all converted from crystal ore, and there are countless supply interfaces outside the supply station. Immediately after building the first supply station, Meng Ze purchased the biochemical arsenal drawings. The mysterious level biochemical arsenal drawings are still 1 million crystal ores. Meng Ze invested 1 million crystal ore, and spent more than 2 hours to build the biochemical arsenal. Expensive is really expensive, but the effect is also leveraged. Compared to the ordinary biochemical arsenal, which can produce 100 population units per hour, the mysterious level biochemical arsenal can produce 1,000 population units per hour. The newly built biochemical arsenal can only produce 2 types of arms. One is the engineering core. Category, engineering core. Level 1. Population, 1 unit. Construction efficiency, 1,000 units of crystals. Hour. Life force, 50. Attack damage, 5. Defense, 0. Manufacturing demand, 100 units of crystal ore. Meng Ze compared that the construction of the mysterious level supply station consumed 100,000 units of crystals, and the 4 special engineering soldiers completed it in an hour, which was 25 times more efficient than ordinary engineering soldiers. However, it is cumbersome to use and the activation cost is high. Fortunately, ordinary engineers are cheap, and Meng Ze produced 1,000 at once. When the engineering troops rolled off the production line, Meng Ze began to arrange the construction of supply depots and biochemical arsenals. Meng Ze plans to build 29 more supply stations, plus the existing ones, exactly 30 supply stations. The army, with a population of 30,000, is estimated to be enough for the time being. The biochemical arsenal arranged to build one again. Not that Meng Ze did not want to build more, but in just a while, 6 or 7 million crystal mines were almost consumed. Now Meng Ze knows why everyone is going to grab mines, which is too much consumption. Originally, Meng Ze planned to continue to exchange some money to spend, but for the time being, it could only be put on hold. Another type of military that the biochemical arsenal can now manufacture is the biochemical armored core. This is a semi-mechanized service. Meng Ze took a closer look at the construction of the biochemical armored core. The shell of the biochemical armored core is fully enclosed armor, although the head field of view is preserved, but usually mainly relies on the virtual field of view provided by various detectors. Unless the external detection device is damaged or failed, it does not need to be observed with the naked eye. Inside the armor, in addition to various mechanical parts, it is a semi-cyborg. This semi-cyborg has no skin, muscles grow directly with external armor, no regular internal organs, and the bones are also all metal. It can be said that except for some of the flesh and blood tissues that maintain the vitality of the brain, most of them are mechanical. Even the brain has auxiliary biochips. In the decomposition structure of the large screen of the command center, the biochemical armored force has 3 main upgradable parts: power pack, external armor, and weapon system. Tier 1 biochemical armored soldiers. The power pack is chemical energy, the armor is high energy steel, and the weapon system is electromagnetic rifles. In the later stage, through the progress of scientific and technological levels and research institutes, these components can be upgraded and transformed to strengthen the combat effectiveness of soldiers. Category: Biochemical Lancer. Level 1. Population: 1 unit. Life Force: 100. Attack Damage: 10. Defense: 1. Combat Endurance: 10 hours. Manufacturing Demand: 200 units of crystal ore. With resources almost exhausted, Meng Ze browsed through the StarCraft game world for another burst of communications. The war between the God of War Alliance and the Vertical City has been fought for more than 200 hours in the game world, but now that the two sides have ceased fire, the grapevine says that the two sides have begun negotiations again. Meng Ze only knew a little about these news, and did not pay much attention. After reading the information for a while, Meng Ze withdrew from the game world. When I picked up my phone, it was only about an hour or so. After 8 o'clock, slowly going out for breakfast, Meng Ze found that he rarely had such a leisurely time. Halfway through breakfast, Meng Ze received a call from his supervisor, and without saying a word, the supervisor gave Meng Ze a batch of criticism, and then threatened to deduct money. To this, Meng Ze only replied, Lao Tzu will not do it. At 10 o'clock, Meng Ze went to the office and packed up his personal belongings. In the dark face of his supervisor, I asked about the finance. Because I left directly, I didn't notify the company in advance to leave, and I couldn't get my salary for 10 days this month. Meng Ze thought about it, felt that it didn't matter, just said hello to a colleague who was more familiar with the company, and patted his ass and left. Back at the apartment and putting things down, Meng Ze's heart suddenly felt a little empty. From now on, he can say goodbye to the life that has been repeating itself for 3 years. I followed the progress of the game through virtual screen projection, and there were millions of resources. Meng Ze entered the game world once, paid 3 million crystal mines, and bought the drawings of the Mystic Engineering Research Institute, which was the most expensive thing Meng Ze had ever bought. However, Meng Ze can also understand that not all drawings are like supply stations, which are not cost-effective and practical. The Institute of Engineering studies defensive buildings, building protection, ground light armor, and offensive equipment. Simply put, with the Engineering Research Institute, there is enough technical support to build defensive buildings, such as missile launch pads, fortresses, etc. In addition, the Engineering Research Institute is also a building for the study of light arms technology, such as the engineering soldiers produced by the biochemical arsenal, the armor, weapons, and power packs of the biochemical guns, the armor of unmanned mining machines, and mining efficiency. With not enough crystal ore for the time being, Meng Ze built only one engineering research institute. With the construction task arranged, Meng Ze quit the game. After coping with his stomach, Meng Ze lay on the bed, planning his future in his heart. Meng Ze has daydreamed countless times, wondering what he would do if he suddenly became rich. At that time, Meng Ze wanted to buy a house, one by one, and then do the enviable as the charter company, the kind that collects rent with a large set of keys. All you need to do is eat, drink and have fun every day, and then wait to collect the rent. But today, dreams are so close to him. Meng Ze suddenly feels that this life may not be interesting. After thinking about it for a while, Meng Ze felt that he shouldn't be too ambitious. First you should have your own house, then have your own car, and then save a sum of money. First return to the hometown to honor your parents. Next, Meng Ze devoted most of his energy to the interstellar world. He wants to grow his team as soon as possible, and at the same time exchange some real wealth. Options are still better than cash. However, many things are not rushed, and the mining efficiency of the base limits the speed of Meng Ze's development. Asked the big guy if he didn't understand, Meng Ze contacted the dog-head Bun again. Bun boss, I bought 3 million drawings of your Biochemical Research Institute. Meng Ze deliberately searched for items hanging in the market for dog-headed buns, among which the mysterious Biochemical Research Institute drawings were officially what he needed. Meng Ze brother is arrogant, the dog-headed bun praised. Although 3 million is not a particularly large number for dog-headed buns, considering that Meng Ze is just a newcomer, even if he was born with a super bonanza, the daily recovery amount is only 1.4 million. This shot is 3 million, and it doesn't look like a mine mined by itself. Sure enough, it was Zai who sold Ye Tian, and did not feel distressed. The dog-headed bun certainly wouldn't have thought that the mine resilience of Meng Ze's spawn point would be 50 times that of the super bonanza, because up to now, the best mines that have appeared are only the ones that caused the dispute between the God of War Alliance and the Vertical City before. The two are trading for the second time, which can be regarded as having a certain degree of trust. When Meng Ze bought the drawings, they arrived in less than 2 minutes. Meng Ze has bought architectural drawings several times, and after buying them, they can quickly be transmitted to the command center at a fixed point, which makes Meng Ze feel a little bottomless. His command center coordinates are not displayed at all. So how did the StarCraft Simulation World platform locate him, and can other players also locate him in this way? After importing the drawings of the Biochemical Research Institute into the command center, and activating the building icon of the Biochemical Research Institute, Meng Ze asked in passing, Bun boss, what does the simulation world rely on to locate and deliver items, and there is no need to enter the coordinates to locate at all? Are you not afraid of making mistakes? But the wrong one. Each command center number is unique, but no matter how many command centers you have, only one can be bound to the commander, that is, your core headquarters, and the platform delivery items are delivered to the core headquarters, according to the command center number. Doghead Bun explained. Of course, newcomers like my brother usually have only one command center, so you can't make a mistake. Then isn't the command center of all of us under the control of the platform, and everyone's position is clear? What secrets are there? Meng Ze said. That's not clear, but the core host of the StarCraft simulation world is said to operate independently, and the highest technology crystallization of the Federation Empire is logically not in the hands of a single force. The dog-headed bun said. Meng Ze also got an important message from the words of the dog-headed bun, that is, the creation of such a magical creation, as StarCraft Sim is a country called the Federation Empire, which may be where other interstellar players are. I really don't know what the Federation Empire spends so much money for. Meng Ze sighed falsely. The dog-headed bun didn't notice, and said in passing, what else can it be? Of course, it is to cultivate interstellar commanders. The Federation Empire needs to train its commanders through a simulated world. Does the bun boss know the situation? Meng Ze asked. I don't know, but as long as you are high level, you will naturally hear some rumors. Speaking of this, Meng Ze felt that the dog-headed bun was suddenly a little excited. Although Meng Ze wanted to know more inside stories like a cat's paw, he endured it. If you can't bear it, you will make a big plan, and you will have the opportunity to understand it later. Meng Ze changed the subject. Bun boss, I want to ask you how to increase the speed of mining. The dog-headed bun said suspiciously. You can build more mining machines. This answer is indeed the simplest solution, but it is not what Meng Ze wants. There's no other way. Then did you build an engineering research institute? Doghead Bun asked. Just built. In fact, Meng Ze's engineering research institute has been built for a while, but all kinds of scientific and technological research in it require a lot of crystal ore, and he has not arranged research for the time being. No wonder. You can go to study the individual weapon project, and the engineering research institute can improve the mining efficiency of mining machines and the attack power of infantry by increasing the level of individual weapons. Thank you big guy for your guidance, Meng Ze said gratefully. You're welcome. Come on, Haha. With the guidance of the dog-headed bun, Meng Ze turned around and arranged the research of the individual weapon project. However, the research time is very long, and the real-world time takes 3 days. See the projects that the Engineering Research Institute can study: building strength, building armor, individual soldier armor, individual weapons, individual power, a total of 5 types. An engineering institute can only study 1 project at a time, and to study at the same time, 5 engineering research institutes must be built. Meg. This is another big money consumer. Seeing the amount of resource storage that he had become bare again, Meng Ze sighed secretly in his heart. Forget it, if you can't hurry, go out for a stroll. Walking down the street, Meng Ze looked at the crowds coming and going on the street, and suddenly felt unfamiliar with the city. It's been 3 years since I came to Dongguan City, and looking back, Meng Ze really hasn't really observed the city seriously, and even the nearest park only knows the name and location, but has never been there. Without family support, this generation of young people felt the oppression of life early on. I'm lucky, at least I see hope, Meng Ze said heartily. There are not many crowds in the park during this time, and even fewer young people like Meng Ze. After wandering around the park for a while, Meng Ze suddenly thought, maybe I'll be idle in the future. Maybe I should expand my circle of friends and do something I once wanted to do but couldn't. Meng Ze's circle of friends is simple: relatives at home, former classmates, former colleagues and netizens. In the past few days after leaving, it feels like a long time has passed, and my former colleagues have silently disappeared into life. Relatives at home call from time to time, and they don't know whether the phone brings people closer or farther away. Most of the former classmates are separated by one side, but maybe it is not long since graduation, and there are a few people in the class who will come to work, so the classmate group is still active. As for the netizens, it is a group of game friends, and there are 2 game wives of Meng Ze, but one of them is a big guy, who just plays a female trumpet. According to him, it is because his wife is strictly controlled, and is not allowed to play male trumpets to hook up in the game. The 2 chatted quite well, often complaining to each other about troubles in work and life, but they had never seen each other in reality. Another online name is occasionally melancholy, most likely female. Meng Ze has spoken to her. Listening to the voice is not old, but I have never met. When I used to occasionally mouth, occasionally a little melancholy once said that as long as Meng Ze looks good, and is willing to come to see her in person, I will consider Meng Ze as a girlfriend. But Meng Ze looked at the distance of more than 1,000 kilometers on the map, touched his pocket, and then there was no more. Thinking of this, Meng Ze discovered that the online game he once loved had not been open once after obtaining the interstellar world. Back at his apartment, Meng Ze turned on his long-lost computer and logged into the game called Swordsman again. Meng Ze's game is called Xiaobai, and there are dozens of messages in the game's chat history. Meng Ze flipped through it, and most of them were occasionally melancholy, occasionally mixed with messages from the big guy, the wolf of the big wolf. Occasionally a little melancholy was not there during this time, and Meng Ze left her a message, telling her that she was running out of time to play games in the future, and left her phone number. As for whether the other party will contact him, it is not forced. Meng Ze also realized that, when he was in the interstellar world, it was inconvenient to not be able to receive information from the outside world, and it could be exposed or troublesome. When Meng Ze is aware of this, the system automatically generates information and external status reminders. For the intelligence of the system, Meng Ze has long experienced it, and silently praised it in his heart. Before going to bed at night, Meng Ze built the Biochemical Research Institute in Interstellar World, adding 2 new classes, Spitfires and Medics. Category: Spitfire. Level 1. Population: 1 unit. Life force: 100. Attack power: 20. Defense: 1. Combat endurance: 5 hours. Manufacturing demand: 500 units of crystal ore. Category: Paramedics. Level 1. Population: 1 unit. Life force: 100. Resilience: 10. Vitality, Min. Defense: 1. Manufacturing demand: 200 units of crystal ore. Spitfires are small coverage troops, using high explosive fuel, and the flames spewed out can continue to burn on the surface of water, rocks, and steel, which is powerful and has a range of up to 100 meters. Meng Ze allocated part of the remaining resources to the supply station, and some of them were converted into arms. By the time Meng Ze woke up in the morning, there would be 60 supply stations, 10,000 biochemical lancers, 2,000 Spitfires, and 500 medics. Meng Ze slept beautifully, and when he ate in the morning and entered the interstellar world again, the scene inside made Meng Ze extremely shocked. As the saying goes, there are more than 10,000 people, and there is no bound. When the army of more than 10,000 people gathered neatly in the source square of the biochemical arsenal, a fierce momentum came overwhelming. Unlike the Three Kingdoms games, that Meng Ze played on the computer in the past, the pure god vision will not make people feel any special feelings. Just think that they are densely packed villains. But in the interstellar world, these armies can be said to be real. If Meng Ze wants, he can touch them up close, one by one. The biochemical arms were armored together, with a height of 2 meters and 5 meters, and Meng Ze stood in front of them, even with a sense of insignificance. However, all these troops, all under his command and completely loyal to him, made Meng Ze can't help but feel a sense of pride in his heart, and the eldest husband should not be like this. Compared to these, Meng Ze suddenly felt that the real money was not so fragrant. Throughout the morning, Meng Ze was busy. First, drawings of missile launch pads and bastions were purchased. After that, the construction of defenses around the base began. When the buildings were built and soldiers were stationed, Meng Ze felt that he was finally not running naked. In order to speed up the construction process, the engineering corps was expanded by Meng Ze to 5,000 units, and the number of supply stations continued to increase. When this batch of construction is completed, Meng Ze will have 100 mysterious supply depots that can sustain an army of 100,000 people. This wave of consumption, Meng Ze's resources are exhausted again. After the initial excitement of the game, Meng Ze is now able to organize his time more rationally. If there are no special circumstances in the future, you can basically build a wave in the morning and another wave in the evening, and you can reasonably transform all resources into buildings and combat power. The rest of the time, you only need to pay attention to it, occasionally through virtual screen projection. Meng Ze is still different from other players after all. After side understanding, Meng Ze found that other people in the StarCraft simulation world stayed in the interstellar world almost around the clock, and Meng Ze couldn't even find out if they had ever rested. Meng Ze is skeptical that the players of the Federation Empire have any other way to maintain their status, but Meng Ze himself can't. His own biological life cycle is synchronized with real-world time, not affected by the interstellar world. But this also makes Meng Ze feel that he is still a living person, not a character in the interstellar world. Arrange today's mission. Before exiting the interstellar world, Meng Ze arranged a mission to explore the surrounding area. He now has more and more buildings, and he must explore more areas in advance to prevent possible dangers. When the arranged troops began to walk out of the base and explore the designated area as ordered, Meng Ze withdrew from the interstellar world. Call the landlord to inform him that Meng Ze is ready to leave the city. For Dongguan, Meng Ze has nothing to be nostalgic about, and the reason for staying here before is just because of work. Meng Ze plans to go to see his little brother at the first stop, and also go out for a walk by the way. According to the literary point, that is, the motherland is so big, I want to see it. In less than an hour, the landlord arrived. After checking the situation of the house a little, he agreed to Meng Ze to quit the rent, and in Dongguan City, the house is still rented. After chatting with the landlord for a while, Meng Ze left all the living utensils he had purchased with the landlord, leaving only his clothes and laptop. For the rest of the day, Meng Ze did nothing, not even entering the interstellar world. The next morning, Meng Ze sold all the crystal he had saved and exchanged it for cash, a total of 220,000. When he arrived at the high-speed rail station, Meng Ze received the occasional melancholy text message, with only one sentence: "Brother Xiaobai, will you come to Taiyuan to find me?" Meng Ze did not reply. "Maybe you can go to sea, but first go to Wuhan City." Sitting on the high-speed train, looking at the lake and mountains flashing rapidly outside, Meng Ze was in a bit of a trance. Suddenly thought crankily, "Fortunately, the army of the Federation Empire cannot come to the Earth, otherwise all the countries on the Earth will not be easily wiped out." Meng Ze thought that he was only a first-level commander. With sufficient resources, he could be almost unlimited thugs, and even a first-level biochemical lancer was almost invincible on Earth. Therefore, Meng Ze believes that he must not expose his abnormality. No one knows if the Federation Empire can find out the location of the Earth through him. After all, this is a powerful country that can create a semi-real world. Just when Meng Ze was out of his mind, he suddenly felt like he was being bumped. When he turned his head, he found that it was a beautiful girl sitting next to him. "Oh, what's your name?" The girl was supposed to be an extrovert. Spotting Meng Ze turn her head and ask, "My name is Meng Ze, what's your name?" Meng Ze naturally stretched out his hand, suddenly felt out of place, and retracted. "My name is Chi Mei, you already work." Chi Mei obviously noticed Meng Ze's movements. Meng Ze nodded. It is inevitable that design will deal with customers, and shaking hands is almost natural. The girl next to me is obviously not old. Maybe she is still studying, and shaking hands is a little inappropriate. You just looked like you were preoccupied. Is there any difficulty? Hearing Chi Mei's words, Meng Ze smiled heartily. Maybe only girls with little social experience would ask strangers such questions. "No, I just thought of some difficult problems at work, and I felt a little. Then I can't help. Chi Mei stuck out his little tongue and said, "Aren't you supposed to be in school? Today doesn't seem like a weekend." Meng Ze asked. "I had something at home 2 days ago. My cousin got married, and now it's really troublesome to get married. By the way, you're not married, are you?" Chi Mei asked. Meng Ze pointed to his face and said, "Do you see me looking like I'm married? Not even a girlfriend." "You don't have a girlfriend. I see that you don't seem to be bad. You won't lie to me, right?" Chi Mei was a little incredulous. "Why am I lying to you? I'm quite busy at work. I don't have time to talk about my girlfriend." Meng Ze is talking about his previous job, and he is not weak at all. "Oh, understand. Then you were busy, going to Wuhan on a business trip." Chi Mei nodded and asked, "No. Go visit my brother. He is Huazhong University." Meng Ze replied, "Huazhong University, it's a good school, but it doesn't seem to have a good relationship with our school." Seeing Meng Ze's curious look, Chi Mei talked to Meng Ze with interest about the grudge between Huazhong University and Wu University. Meng Ze had a heart to cooperate, and Chi Mei chatted with great interest, and after a few hours of travel, it felt like it was almost in a blink of an eye. The two got off in Wuhan together, but they were on different roads, and they added a weshet before separating, which can be regarded as meeting a new friend. Watching Chi Mei leave, Meng Ze took a taxi and went straight to Huazhong University. When he arrived at the gate of central China, Meng Ze called Meng Tan. After waiting for about 20 minutes, Meng Tan's figure appeared at the school gate. Meng Ze stepped forward and patted his brother on the shoulder, and smiled. "Not bad. I have become handsome again." Meng Tan asked happily, "Brother, why do you have time to come and see me? Don't want me to come over?" Meng Ze pretended. "How come? But brother, aren't you very busy? You didn't come when I called you on May Day before." Meng Tan said, "At this time, my brother used to work under too much pressure, so I had the leisure to come over to play. But recently my brother and I got lucky, made a fortune, and quit my job, so I had time to come over." Meng Ze said half truthfully, "Some things, even if they are relatives, are really difficult to explain, but getting rich is real. If Meng Ze is willing to sell all his crystal mines every day, he will earn at least more than 6 million yuan every month." However, Meng Ze will not do such short-sighted things, although money is good. But after seeing the charm of commanding large-scale troops, in Meng Ze's heart, the importance is greatly rare. "Brother, have you won the lottery? How many hit?" Meng Tan asked in surprise. "No interest. Can it be that brother can only get rich if he wins the lottery?" Hey. Meng Tan grabbed his hair. His first thought was this: the old brother is just an ordinary designer, except for this. He can't think of anything to make a fortune. Forget it, I'm too lazy to tell you. Anyway, you just need to know that your brother has made a fortune, and if you don't have money, ask your brother for it. Meng Ze looked cow-eyed, but Meng Tan was stunned. "I don't know how rich my brother is, he is so confident." "Let's go. Brother will take you to a big meal today. I am not familiar with this place. You know what a good place there is." Led the way. Meng Ze didn't say more. As a result, Meng Tan didn't have much insight, looked around, and the two brothers went to eat a fairly high-end self-service hot pot. After eating, Meng Tan took Meng Ze around the campus of Huazhong University. To be honest, compared to Meng Ze's previous two schools, it was really not a grade. However, although Meng Ze is a little touched, he does not have too many regrets. After all, if his life circumstances change, who knows if he can get StarCraft Sim World. After spending a few hours with Meng Tan, Meng Ze fulfilled a wish. When they separated, Meng Ze transferred 20,000 yuan to Meng Tan, and joked with a smile. When he met a suitable girl, he quickly talked about one. Don't be a bachelor like his brother for more than 20 years. Seeing the surprised expression on Meng Tan's face, Meng Ze is also very relaxed and happy. If there are choices, who doesn't want their relatives to have a better life? At night, Meng Ze found a 5-star hotel, although it was more expensive. But Meng Ze was more afraid of his abnormality being discovered than those cheaper places. Even in a 5-star hotel, Meng Ze didn't spend much time in the interstellar world. The game was replenished with a wave of troops, increasing the number of biochemical lancers to 40,000, the spitters to 10,000, and the medics to 2,000. Subsequently, the construction of 2 arsenals and 2 engineering research institutes was arranged. As a result, today's resources are basically consumed. Meng Ze, who originally thought that he should be quite wealthy, found that this crystal mine was not so sufficient. "Big Bun, how long did it take you to upgrade the second-level command center?" Meng Ze sent a message to the dog-headed Bun. "More than a year. Haha. Are you in a hurry, brother? Some things are not rushed. Your foundation is much better than that of your brother. It should take less than a year to be promoted. Come on, brother is optimistic about you." The dog-headed Bun sent a reply within minutes. Seeing the information of the dog-headed Bun, Meng Ze suddenly calmed down. "It's only a few days since I get the interstellar world, and my construction speed should be regarded as rocket level if it weren't for the fact that he had built several more buildings. The remaining 4 buildings of Forge, Airport, Refurbishment Research Institute, and Science Station might have been completed long ago. All first-level buildings are completed, and the command center can choose to upgrade. Although the prices of the remaining drawings are not yet known, Meng Ze estimates that it will not take a few days. I don't know what the scenery is going to look forward to. Meng Ze is a little looking forward to it, asterisk.
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.